No, listen, I got caught up in it. And
Why was that?
Who knows?
Was it just everybody was doing it?
Some people just got hooked on alcohol and or cocaine or other drugs, whatever.
Because it was fun?
Other people didn't,
Yeah.
I was chief economist of Bear Stearns. I had been at Bear Stearns, and I went down to Reagan. Then I came back after his first term. I got caught up in the zeitgeist, I guess. But I never blamed anyone or said, well, because of this, because of that. It was because of me.
But it was also, wasn't it like the stress of the job, the long hours, the conviviality of it? Was it unusual in New York?
It's funny. Down through the years, I've been sober now 30 years with God's grace.
Congratulations.
But, down through the years, people have asked me that and kind of offered them up as, shall we say, excuses. But I know lots of people at Bear Stearns and Goldman Sachs and others who had the same stress as I had, and they were fine. So I've always taken personal responsibility for it. And I think that—
Could it be genetic as well?
It could have been.
Yeah.
Although I was really the only drunk in my family, as far as I know.
Right.
So I just got caught up in it.
Yeah.
And
when did you realize it was a problem and not just blowing off steam?
For the last few years were very difficult. And I always refer to my saintly wife, whom you know, Judy.
Yeah.
Who was in her own right a fabulous painter. But we met in the Reagan administration. But she sent me away to Hazleton for 5 months. And that was the turning point. That was the best thing imaginable.
So she realized it was a problem before you did?
Yeah. Well, she saw the solution ultimately. And it wasn't the kind of thing where you dry out for a week or two. You had to go away.
For 5 months.
This miracle place called Hazleton in Minnesota. It's about an hour from the Twin Cities.
And why was it a miracle?
Well, for me, it was because it taught me how little power I have over many things in life, including alcohol and drugs, but over many things, and gave me a whole different perspective. The whole 12-step program, which I am devoted to, even to this day, I go to 4 or 5 meetings a week, frankly.
Wow. That was Hazleton's philosophy,
They started it, yes.
Right.
Yes, they are very old school.
Right.
Bill Wilson, Alcoholics Anonymous, the so-called Big Book. And they taught me, and I hung on to it. It stuck. And I actually came to faith through that fellowship. A few years later, they don't teach that, but a few years later, I converted to Catholicism.
How did that come about?
Well, I just kind of fell in love with the Mass. And I was in and out.
Through Judy?
It took a while. No, it was really through friends of mine. Lay friends of mine, and then some priest friends of mine.
And what was it about the Mass?
And I was sober, and I was acknowledging what they call a higher power greater than yourself. It all kind of worked for me, and at some point, after I was a couple of years sober, I just fell in love with Jesus. I just fell in love with Jesus. And, it stuck. A friend of mine who was a priest, actually, up in Connecticut, I remember talking to him, and he says, Jesus is there when you fall, and Jesus is there to help pick you up. And I've never forgotten that. Just that. And I've been pretty active in the Catholic Church. we actually built, if you can believe this, we built a new church in Reading, Connecticut.
Oh, really?
Most churches are going down. Yeah, we did.
And you've got people to fill it?
Well, it's not as filled as much as it was. The post-COVID, not quite as full as it used to be, including myself probably. But yeah,
and what was it?
It's full on Christmas and Easter.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, as a convert, you'd be more devout maybe than a lot of tribal Catholics who are born into it. What is it about the actual Catholic Church that you chose? Of all the religions you could have chosen, was it just your friends?
I don't know. It had probably had something to do with my friends. By the way, I don't want to measure myself more or less.
No.
You know, I am who I am.
Yeah.
And, you know, try to live sort of the right way, if you will. You know, to me, getting involved in the 12-step program and coming to faith with Jesus, you know, were the two turning points in my life.
You've been married 40 years?
39. 38 years.
Right, 38. So she was there through that bad time.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
Mm.
She is a saint. And, you know, I'm not perfect. I mean, I do dumb things, occasionally say some dumb things.
Can't imagine that.
Rather have back. There's a great line in the 12-step program about restraint of pen and tongue. And since we're in the pen and tongue business, right. Boy, is that tricky.
That's hard. Yeah.
But I do take it very seriously.
Once about conquering addiction.
Yes.
I stupidly said that, but you said, no, you never really conquer it. It's every day.
That's right. It's a daily.
Is there a day
after a daily reprieve.
35 years you don't think about it, or 30 years? No.
Actually, I have, I read the prayer and meditation every morning.
The Serenity Prayer?
Yeah, well, the Serenity Prayer. And then there's a meditation book called Reflections. And then there's one called the 24-Hour Book. And I have a friend of mine that emails it to me.
Right.
He has a mailing list of hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And I look at it every day.
Probably helps with life and the show. And
it does.
Grounds you.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm so blessed because I got a second chance in my life. For one thing, because the crash and burn was pretty awful. And then in sobriety, I underwent a career change. I almost didn't even realize it for a while. I mean, I went from being, you know, a Wall
Master
Street
of the
economist.
universe.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. To a lowly scribe.
Well, that's right. Then all of a sudden, I'm hosting TV shows for a living.
And you're the best, person on Fox News. You're the highest rater.
We've had a good run here.
Fox
I love
business.
working at Fox. Yeah. But I will say the CNBC years were very good.
Yeah.
They were good. And then out of the blue, Mr. Trump asked me to come down and come in his cabinet as the National Economic Director. I didn't expect that. I never expect that.
So your post-Wall Street, post-sobriety career has been just as rewarding as the pre or more?
It's been much better.
Much better.
It's been much more fulfilling, I think. My heart is in the right spot.
And you've made an impact on America?
Well, perhaps so. Perhaps so. I don't know that. It was a great honor to come back to the White House.
Were you tempted to come back again?
Was I tempted?
Yeah, this time.
I thought about it, and the President and I talked about it. But, I was very busy at Fox. And as I said, I love working here. I'm still very much in touch with him. And many of his senior people are, either friends of mine or former deputies of mine.
Yeah.
I think, he's taken the country in exactly the right directions here. I mean, I think he's better than he was in the first term.
And it's funny. I mean, he's never had a drink or a smoke or taken drugs. And he says that's because his brother had a big problem. So in a way, although he's never done that, he understands addiction very well and admires people who overcome it.
Once or twice I've spoken to him briefly about it, but very briefly about it. It's very personal to him. And it's very personal to me.
I'm sorry to dredge it up.
No. I've been public about this from time to time. But
it's so admirable. I think people want to know that it's possible, especially when, the society is so soaked with drugs at the moment. You can't walk down the street in New York without smelling pot.
I've always felt if anyone listens to this stuff, if I can get sober, you can get sober.
Right.
And I was, at the bottom of the class there.
Right.
But also, I think that the faith part, whether you not the specific religion, but having faith in God or having faith in a power greater than yourself, is a phenomenal, wonderful way to live. We several years ago, I believe you were there. In the Reagan Library, I got the National Review, the Buckley Award from National Review.
I wasn't, but I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah,
we were out there, which was a great honor. Bill Buckley. I was a senior editor for a couple of years at National Review, and Bill and Pat Buckley were very, very dear friends of Judy and me, very dear, and they understood the whole problem of addiction, drinking. But Bill and I would often talk this during the sober years, how, and he was greatly concerned, how you can have a great country and a great civilization without any religion, without God in it.
Yeah, because America was founded by people of faith.
Of course. There's a debate now. There's Senator Kane of Virginia is trying to deny the Declaration of Independence, for heaven's sake. It's right. Tom Jefferson.
One nation under God.
I mean, it's right there. We are endowed by our Creator.
Yes.
It didn't say we are endowed by the Ways and Means Committee. No. It says we are.
The thing, as Joe Biden called it. The thing.
The thing. And, Bill, and so I went back. I mean, he wrote this in 1951, God and Man at Yale was when he came on the scene. But he talked about the need for religion in society and to have God in families, and in your life as individuals.
It breeds humility in a way.
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think that's right. And it breeds better behavior.
Yes.
And it breeds personal and individual responsibility. It also breeds better families, which in turn breeds better communities, which in turn breeds better workplaces.
Yeah.
And one of the, I think, wonderful things that President Trump has done is he has put religion back into the country.
Yes.
He has.
Yeah.
For a variety. I know, and
I wonder
obviously his entire presidency, as he himself has said, that God spared him. This has been a providential presidency.
That was that assassination attempt in Butler. I mean,
that's correct.
A millimeter would have changed the course of history.
That's correct.
And he understands that, doesn't he?
He does. He's talked about it. And the fact that he is righting the ship culturally and putting faith in God
spiritually
back into the country, back into the country's thinking, back into the country's culture is a very healthy thing.
Yes.
Cutting taxes is terrific. Better trade deals is fabulous. Ending wars, terrific stuff. Putting God back into America, now that's something that's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's just terrific, fabulous stuff. Will make everyone better. Even people who are not believers, which is fine, I respect that. It'll even get them to think about it. You asked me earlier, during the course of a day, of almost any given day, I pray several times, short prayers, okay? And I say to people in my 12-step meetings, okay, you may not want to pray, but if you just think about praying, you're making progress.
Yeah.
You'll slow yourself down. Well, what Mr. Trump has done is he's made everyone think about faith and God, okay, and that is, or some kind of higher power, and that's going to make us all better. It's going to make. He will have many achievements. He's already had many achievements. This will be one of his best achievements. He has put God back into this country.
And what an unlikely person, really. I mean, a billionaire from New York.
I don't know. You know, all these, wonderful gifts come in strange packages.
Yes.
Miranda, you never know.
No. I think we have to wrap up, sadly, but I wanted to ask you, you've been very successful yourself in many fields. You've met lots of successful people. What is the secret that you see of success?
I think one of the secrets of success is faith, is having faith, keeping faith. I think that's very important. And then that goes hand in hand with what I think is hard work. The success comes from hard work. Hard work, by the way, I'm no spring chicken. I still work 6 days a week.
Yes, you do, with your radio show on Saturdays.
3 hours of radio on every Saturday. And that, that's a fair piece.
And you're still as exuberant in the third hour of that radio show as you are on Monday in Kudlow.
Sometimes it gets worse. I get so into it. But when I was in the White House, I used to speak every 6 months or so to the White House interns. Yeah. We'd go back to that auditorium, whatever it's called, behind the EOB. And I would pretty much every time I would meet with them, and be hundreds of kids, beautiful kids, come to work, as interns. And I would just say, you have to work hard. And I would say, and when you think you're working hard, that means you have to work harder. And then when you're starting to feel sorry for yourself and you think you're working too hard, you need to step it up and work even harder. And that is the key to success.
Right.
When I was a kid, at a Princeton graduate school, my first job was at the New York Fed. I used to show up on Saturdays, okay? And not many people did. Yeah. Not many people did. There were some. And I was there for 3 years, whatever, plus had some great jobs.
Why were you like that?
It's just inculcated in me. My dad was a hard worker. I think that had something to do with it. Also, I never thought I was smart enough or good enough. I needed to just, I needed to feel like I had the edge or would learn, but stuff that I wasn't getting done, I want to read everything. I'm still kind of like that. Yeah. Working hard and keeping faith with some power greater than yourself. That's got to be a big part of success. Yes, that's got to be a big part of success. It has to be. I've written a couple books. I might have a third in me, but it won't be a book about policy. It'll be more a book about I think faith.
Donald Trump. You should write about Trump.
Well,
you know him well.
I do. And by the way, love the guy. It's funny. After he got shot, I always say to him, my favorite president, no one loves you more than I do.
Says a lot because you worked for Reagan.
Yes. And I was, that was fabulous. But this was different. The Trump thing is completely different. I got to him finally Monday afternoon after he was shot. And I said, I don't believe you're okay until you tell me you're okay. And he said, okay. I said, no one loves you. He said, no one loves you more than I do. He said that. Oh. And it has nothing to do with jobs or pecking orders or anything. It's a bond that we've had for many, many years. And I love that bond.
He's a very generous, spirited guy.
He is.
Yeah.
People don't see that side of him. He looks after people.
Yes.
He looks
hospitable
after people.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's also a very forgiving man.
Mm.
You can be in the penalty box, but he'll bring you out of the penalty box. That's
like
the
Elon.
way he is. Pardon?
Elon, he's bringing out. He said something very nice about him the other day.
Yes, I'm not surprised. I've seen many instances of that. But if I write another book, it'll be more cultural, personal, faith-based.
Yeah.
Policy is lovely, but I will just say this: you're a brilliant woman yourself, and a lot of people will see this podcast or hear it or something. It is a miracle that we're sitting down and you're interviewing me. For me, it is a miracle. That's all I'll say.